Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum, and today I'm bringing you another Geoff Castellucci double reaction. We're going to be checking out his covers of The Reigns of Castamere, which actually is a song from Game of Thrones, and then we'll hear Imagine, which was originally by John Lennon. It's Geoff, so I know both of these songs are in amazing hands, but I do want to rant a little bit about Game of Thrones in general, because when I was watching that show back late in high school and college, it was one of the best things on television I think almost ever put out there. Now for me, my favorite show of all time with clear bias is Breaking Bad, but Game of Thrones had the opportunity to surpass it. It really did. The universe is amazing, the characters are interesting, the plot lines converge and diverge, and there's so much chaos and epicness. Not to mention the music is amazing, but by God, did they just destroy that show after I'll say seasons 7 and 8 were some of the worst pieces of television, and definitely season 8 that you could find, especially given the magnitude of the show, the amount of cultural acclaim that Game of Thrones had received up until that point. It's unmistakable. I was watching the finale with friends of mine who had never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones besides the finale seasons, because that's how much conversation there was around Game of Thrones, that there was so much buzz. They had to get on the action and on the fun and on the experience. But man, the writing was so bad. The way that the plot lines were wrapped up were terrible. Even some of the scene direction, awful. I mean, I could go on, and not to just be negative, but truly it was such a remarkable letdown. Anytime I think of Game of Thrones, I think, wow, the first 5-6 seasons, some of the best television ever. And then I can never recommend somebody ever finish that show because of how far of a cliff we fell off. But, that has less to do with Geoff today. I just figured I would share my sort of complex feelings around this show because I love the soundtracks through and through. Every season they had amazing composers put together these pieces, Reigns of Castamere being one of the more famous, I think, songs from Game of Thrones. Even a while back, when I first was discovering voice play, I did a few reactions to the Bass Gang, and one of the first ones I heard was their cover of The Reigns of Castamere. So their soundtracks in this universe, phenomenal. That is a massive plus point, but I don't think it's enough to take away from the show itself, the way it ended. But anyways, long rant over. I'm excited to hear Geoff's rendition of The Reigns of Castamere and Imagine by John Lennon. But before jumping in, let's please thank Gundala the Serenader for making this donation request. Gundala wants to put out good vibes today for all of us, and I couldn't think of a better way to start this week because I just filmed the reaction to a bunch of piano tracks. Also amazing vibes. So let's just enjoy this week. Let's jump in.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I must bow so low. Only a cat of a different coat.
And on the Iron Throne is awesome.
Only a cat of a different coat. That's all the truth I know. In a coat of gold or a coat of red, a lion still has claws.
Is he the Hand of the King?
And mine are long and sharp, my lord, as long and sharp as yours. And so he spoke, and so he spoke, the Lord of Castamere. But now the rains weep o'er his hall, with no one there to hear. Yes, now the rains weep o'er his hall, with not a soul to
gosh. Oh, the spatial movement of the strings here. I mean, this is already so epic, and if you think about it in the context of the plot of Game of Thrones, because of how epic things got in that show, literally the world is in jeopardy constantly. People's lives are constantly on the line. We are trying to break the wheel, so to speak, and change the world for the better, save it from tyranny and oppression and evil. There's so much riding on what happens in those scenes in that show, in that universe. So a song like this needs to live up to that feeling of intensity, of epicness, and it does so perfectly. I think the foundation for a song like this in the lows, it was already there, and Geoff is the guy to add that feeling of power in the lows. Here we go. That's really cool. He's all the roles.
And so he spoke, and so he spoke. The Lord of Castamere. But now the rains weep o'er his hall, with no one there to hear. Now the rains weep o'er his hall, with not a soul to hear.
Oh, dude.
With not a soul to
Oh my god, his lows remind me of what is that song? It was Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child by Paul Robeson. It's worth checking out that song if you guys like bass singers. Ooh. Yeah, if it wasn't clear what I was saying as the outro is happening, the song Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, originally by, actually I don't know originally, but a version sung by Paul Robeson. He's another extremely talented bass singer of old. Some of the melodies and even pitches that Geoff was hitting were reminding me of that song in particular, so I think worth checking out. But again, like a song like this, it needs to have that epicness. The intensity ought to be there. The foundation of a song like this cannot be shaken. There can be no cracks. And as we heard from Geoff, there are none. It is all so fluid. It all feels very tempered, measured. It is like coated with epoxy 100 times over. It is completely safe in what it is. This is the kind of thing that actually moves you. And I was actually, so this last weekend, I was watching some of the like X Factor, America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, those kind of like competition singing shows with my girlfriend. And she was asking me, like, she loves, so like obviously she knows about my reaction channel. She loves getting my reactions, my first time reactions to things. She always will show me pieces of content, and she needs to make sure that I have never seen this thing, because otherwise, like, she doesn't want to show it to me. Like, for example, if there are movies that I've seen before that I would love to rewatch with her, she's like so turned off to the idea because I've seen it, and she wants my literal first time reaction. So anyways, we were watching a bunch of those, and she was showing me like, hey, what do you think about this singer, that singer? What do you enjoy about them? And I kept kind of coming back to the comment of, well, they're really talented. They're doing a lot here. You can clearly tell that they're, practiced. But some of the performances in America's Got Talent and Britain's Got Talent, those shows, they didn't have that emotional gravity that you were necessarily looking for. At least that's like how I felt about some of them. But then often when she would pair it with the full story of that artist or singer, then it would hit harder for me. Even if, let's say, the singing level, the quality was about the same. So I'm starting to put more pieces of this musical puzzle together, and I think I'll do so for the rest of my life. But one of those pieces is it's all well and good to be able to sing a song amazingly in isolation, but if those listening don't know the context for that song, what it means to you, the singer, what it means, in the context of the show Game of Thrones, for example, it just may not hit as hard as it could. But having that context, knowing about the singer's backstory, knowing about what series of crazy events led to this point in this crazy universe by George R.R. Martin, led to a song like this being warranted, having the impact that it does. Because otherwise, it wouldn't necessarily. It would be an amazing song, but you wouldn't think of all of the possible timelines for the story to go. And we humans, we are very story-driven people. So even in my own listening now, I'm trying to have more of the context all the time. And for me, it makes for a far more enjoyable listening experience, because then it's not only about the song itself, it's about the greater impact of the song and how it fits into that wider context. Anyways, enough of my yapping, more of Geoff's yapping. Well, sing yapping? Something.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Beautiful song.
It's easy if you try.
This is nourishing my brain.
No hell below us, and above us only sky.
God, his voice is so powerful.
Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one.
This song is so beautiful.
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger.
electrical effect there.
No need for greed or hunger. The brotherhood of man. Whoa, imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer.
Oh my god, that
But I'm
chord.
not the only one, and I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one.
This song is just, I mean, it's already beautiful. And Geoff with the lows, and then bringing in all of the other Geoffs, phasing himself in and out of this track. And then the piano playing the melody in that da 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 do 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 do. It's an infinitely loopable song in my mind. I mean, I can just imagine like playing this song for straight up an hour straight, riffing on it, modifying the melody, creating even different lyrics to a song like this. It just has such, again, a strong foundation for it to build anywhere it wants to. And this song at a very high level to me symbolizes us needing to have the bravery to envision a world of peace, of belonging, of, I mean, free from conflict, right? Can we be brave enough to do that? It's always easy to find ways to destroy what we have and be at odds with one another. We can easily point out the differences because our emotions are often tied to the ego attached to having our opinions rejected or feeling like we're not understood. And there's constant clashing back and forth. Oh, I thought they said this thing and they meant it this way, and vice versa. They did this thing in this way, therefore I can never. And oftentimes the conversation stops because of any number of these misunderstandings, mischaracterizations, eventually leading to conflict. But can we imagine a world where that doesn't exist, where we actually put the effort into reaching global unity rather than seeking places of disagreement? Because they will be there invariably, but what's important to recognize is we need to be able to find solutions for those differences, because the differences are going to come one way or the other. So given that they will exist, the only best path forward is to reconcile those differences, smooth the waters. And it's hard to do the simple thing, which is crazy, but it is the way it is in this world. Even though it is simple to, on this channel I preach peace, love, positivity. It is simple to just say that. It is harder to do it, but that's why we daily make steps towards that goal in our own personal lives and hopefully for the greater community as a whole. There's no reason to stop, because the day we stop, as you can see globally, all of the terrible things that go on a daily basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, things can get far worse if we allow them to. A lot of power is in our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
And the world will live as one.
Yeah. Oh, nice modification.
Hey y'all, Geoff here. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing. Special shout out goes to my Patreon community whose continuous support helped me make videos just like this one. If you'd like early access to music, videos, behind-the-scenes footage, audio session walkthroughs, and more, click over to Patreon and check it out. A very special thank you goes to Holger Draco, Tema Krempley, Juliana Livingston, Diane Holland, Sarah Borzelli, Sarah O, Lori Templeman, Laura Mueller, Patricia Schumann, Debbie Goodling, Jordy S, A.M. Person, Carl and Melanie Thomas, Debs Badger, Asa M. Lagnestall, and Dorothy Brune, who is always in our hearts. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.
It's the world of peace that we need so desperately. It's not going to happen instantaneously. It may not happen for centuries, who knows. But it's not going to happen if we don't try. We need to try daily. Any moment that you think doesn't matter at all matters. It all adds up. I mentioned this before in different reactions, but it's always worth repeating. Every thought you have, every thing you say, every behavior you enact, all of it has a consequence. Even if you feel like it doesn't, even if you keep all of those things to yourselves, eventually you will face the world and impact another, right? Just lead with a smile on your face, even pay a compliment to a stranger. It's just a slight tidying of the world. I remember hearing this quote. I don't know what it was in the context of, but the idea was, whatever campfire you find yourself at, leave it better than you found it. So whatever place in the world you're at, whatever situation you found yourself in, whether it's to do with you or not, just leave it slightly better. So, for me, if I'm at the gym, a small thing that I'll do is I will just wipe off all of the surfaces. I will clean it. And it's sort of a responsibility that you're supposed to do because you want to keep people clean. You don't want to cross-contaminate and all this stuff. But I make an effort every single time, even though I see the majority of people do not do that, because I want the best for others. I want the best for me in the hopes that others can learn by example. And even if these small things don't feel like a lot, to me, they add up over time. Even just having that small conversation, I'm a big, I think, introvert at my heart. And over the years, I've taught myself extroversion and the ability to be more social. And as you can see with my YouTube channel, I can speak a lot better than I used to be able to. All of these things were in an effort to grow closer to the world and not be as alone as I was. And in so doing this process, I've also realized that, yes, I was alone, but so many other people are alone as well and don't even know necessarily what is the best foot forward or why they're feeling the way that they do. And you never know what anybody else is going through, so just lead with kindness every step of the way and have that positive impact. There's an interesting thought that I go down to is it self-serving to be like overly kind? Like, is the fact that I get dopamine from being kind to others taking away from that positive action? Like, is philanthropy, as a example, is philanthropy self-serving rather than just selfless? And I think it's almost impossible to completely divorce those two things, at least the way that I'm feeling about it right now in my own anecdotal experience, because I love to be selfless for others, but I can't help but feel good about being selfless too. So is that true selflessness? Maybe, maybe not. I need to do more contemplation on that, but I figured I would share all of these thoughts with you at once and overwhelm your brains with the world of peace, love, and positivity. But that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. I certainly did. It is a pleasure every time listening and reacting to Geoff. My brain definitely feels soothed right now. So thank you very much, Gundala. Like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed the reaction today. If you did and would like to make a reaction request yourself, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. It's the best way to support my channel. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.